Previously on TLG. What's going on, guys? Welcome to June's episode of Game of the Month. We played Path of Exile.
So when I originally saw this game, I thought the graphics were kind of like older looking. Honestly, I was not interested when I first saw it. My biggest takeaways, I think, from playing it this time is they've really expanded this game a lot. Lots of things to do in the game. They all vary very well, and the story is actually interesting.
You can literally build your characters pretty much any way you want. The other thing I like about this is there's no currency really in the game.
Just to be clear, I fucking love Path of Exile. If you like any ARPGs, I think it's one of the best on the market. Hey, I'm giving this a fucking big old fat A. I love Path of Exile. I love coming back to it. I always enjoyed it a lot.
I'm gonna have to echo that. It's definitely an A game. Every time I played it this month, I literally just kind of lost track of time.
I am also going to give this an A. Even if it does look a little bit like an older game, it doesn't matter. It's a lot of fun.
So 3 A's.
Yeah.
I think this is like the highest ratings we've done in a month ever on the channel. So that's fucking crazy. What's going on, guys? Welcome to February's episode of Game of the Month, the show where we pick a game at random every month, and at the end of the month, we talk about it. My name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
Chris is not joining us, so we will get his opinion on the game that we played, which is Path of Exile, next time he's on the show. But before we talk about Path of Exile, quick reminders that we played Concrete Genie, Control, and Destruction All-Stars, all offered on PlayStation Plus. Hopefully you guys got a chance to play that. Plus Club is out, so make sure to check out that episode. We discussed what we thought about it there. But we're moving into a new month, and we got a bunch of fucking games to play. So those games are Final Fantasy VII Remake, Remnant from the Ashes, Maquette, I think that's how you say that, and Farpoint. This is open to discussion, but I feel like we should probably axe Farpoint off of our discussion for Plus Club because it's a VR game. I'm going to encourage people to play it.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's fair to have... I mean, even the PS5 games are a little hard to talk about because not everybody has access to that. Mm-hmm. But the VR, I feel like, is even harder to talk about because some people aren't interested in VR. Some people don't have VR for whatever reason. So it's going to be really hard to discuss.
I also know Sony just throws in VR games occasionally anyways as freebies. So.
Yeah, this time they started out all 4 games at once.
Well, sure, but they've also
fucking games.
They're also doing this aggressive play at home campaign as well. Yeah. Where that game we got in the middle of the month, that was part of that.
I didn't get it. I checked and it's $5. I could buy it. But
weird. Yeah, so they're doing a bunch of random stuff that's also throwing games out there too. So
interesting.
Yeah, it's a mess. So I would agree the VR game. I mean, obviously, if it comes up and we want to talk about it, but it's not. I don't think it should be part of the.
Yeah, because over on Plus Club,
discussion. We
did not talk about. We Were There, whatever it's called. So if you guys played that, definitely tell us what you thought about it in the comments. But that's not being discussed. So we probably won't discuss Farpoint, but I have played Farpoint. Have VR for fucking PS4, and it's pretty cool. Pretty cool. It feels a first-person shooter. It would be very simplistic, but for VR, it's pretty neat experience. I also have the light gun thing for PSVR,
the frame or whatever.
Yeah, and it's actually really neat. I wish I had that for my Vive. Anyway, what do we think about Final Fantasy VII Remake, Remnant from the Ashes, and Maquette? In case you don't know what Maquette is, it is one of those first-person puzzle games where you're able to look at things from perspective, be able to change the shape and size of things from perspectives to solve puzzles.
I feel like that's going to be a one-day play for me at that point. But, who knows? I can't remember which one it is off the top of my head, but there was a puzzle game we got that I ended up investing a lot of time in that also had perspective puzzles. Like, I had to get on a boat, go out so the landscape matched up a certain way, and then drew the line.
Yeah, that's... I forgot the name of it, but yeah, that The Witness.
Yeah, and I ended up playing that one
quite
a lot more than I thought I was gonna.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised by that.
I think Revenant is one of those games you wanted people to play with anyways, so
it might be on our Game of the Month list. But I really like Remnant from the Ashes, so yeah, that is a game I'm stoked for you guys to play.
Yeah, so that's convenient in that regard because it's just has not been on my radar at all. And then
a lot of people's radar.
He already beat Final Fantasy VII, but I'm willing to go back and do some completionist stuff.
Check out the PS5 upgrade and talk about that.
I don't think it's out until June.
Oh, fuck. Well, fuck me. Fuck me and my great ideas.
Yeah, so I'll just be doing completionist stuff in that. So
Yeah, and well, it's kind of nice because like that's a fucking recently released game, so we'll be able to do like a full on review of it, be able to grade it and stuff like that. So I'm excited for that.
hopefully it encourages you to beat it, so we can have.
I'm
that
gonna try.
discussion.
I'm gonna try and beat it. I need to play it.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'm really excited about Final Fantasy VII Remake. I think that's a huge get. That's crazy. It's
Big
awesome. Huge game. It's one of the biggest games of that year, and and you're getting it on PlayStation Plus. That's huge. Really excited about that. I already own it, but
Asterisk. You don't get the PS5 upgrade for free if you have the Plus version of the game.
yeah. That, which is interesting because like they want you to buy it again for that. It's whatever. I already bought it, so I get the upgrade, but it is kind of weird. But I'm really excited about that, and I will try and use this as an excuse to push myself to just beat the game because I am like 20 hours into the game or something like that, and I really like it so far. Remnant from the Ashes I've played a lot of. I never beat that as well, but that game is I think up to 4-player co-op, 3-player co-op maybe, and it's awesome. It's like maybe I'm showing my cards a little early here, but I've talked about it on the channel before. I'm a fan of Remnant from the Ashes. I'm excited that people are going to get a chance to play this game. Hopefully, I get a chance to play it with you, Chris, other people. I know Sarah and Josh already own it, so like on
definitely
PC
do now.
Yeah, so a bunch of people own it, and it's a legit game that I'm excited that hopefully this draws enough attention to the game that people enjoy it enough. It's not amazing, but it's a cool game. Hopefully it draws enough people to play it so they can make a second one because I really dig it. So we'll talk about that more at the end of March. Maquette, I'm really curious about. At first I was like, I don't know, but I wouldn't play it otherwise. So, and I always kind of like that. I like getting a game that I'm not going to buy. Because if you know me, I'm not opposed to buying just a random fucking game. And then, Farpoint. It's a cool game. It's a cool VR game. I definitely encourage you guys to go check it out. But we're not going to talk about it on Plus Club, probably. Unless enough people fucking in the comments really want to hear about it, I would be open to doing it, at least myself. Maybe I'll do my own little Plus Club review of it. But yeah. Anything else?
No.
Okay, we have a Discord link down below. You can talk to us anytime, all the time. We're on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms. If you prefer to listen to us in audio form, and Patreon. We have Patreon if you'd like to support the channel further than liking, commenting, sharing this video with your friends, and subscribing if you're brand new. And yeah, before we talk about Path of Exile, we got to pick a brand new game of the month. In case you're new here as well, we have to pick a brand new game of the month every month, except for the months we pick the games, which is once every like 3 months. So I'm hitting a random number generator. We have 19 games on our list. I'm going to stop pressing the button. 3, 2, 1. And then I'm going to look at it. And we're going to find out what our game of the month for March is. And it is 18.
All right. Well, that puts us in the category of games that almost made the user choice or viewer choice last year. So we will be playing Among Us.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
It's not even irrelevant yet, so it's perfect. Cool. So we will be playing Among Us. That's a nice, easy hop in, hop out game. So game of the month for March is Among Us. What do you think about that?
I think it'll be fun to play with people I know.
Yeah.
That's it, though, because it is absolutely a competitive game.
Yeah, in a sense, for sure.
I mean, it's lighthearted, don't get me wrong.
2 teams, but yeah, and one team's a lot bigger than the other. But yeah, the genre itself kind of draws in like sociopaths and shit. So that's like my least favorite.
I've seen some pretty creepy videos on
That's
YouTube.
my least favorite part of the genre itself. But Among Us is so simplistic that it kind of takes away a lot of the options that allows people to really explore those places in their mind, and so it kind of keeps the game on track and just playing the way you're supposed to play, essentially, as opposed to Project Winter, where people get real creative on how to be assholes, and really verbalizing being an asshole. So, yeah, I'm stoked about that. I'm glad that somebody's runner-up pick got drawn.
Yeah.
Just to kind of show people it is on the list. We will play it. So,
yeah, it's kind of surprising because we still have games from the prior year's user pick on there. So, and they just haven't been pulled yet.
Yeah. Yeah, and they will eventually. But yeah, it'll be fun. We should try and get just like a bunch of people we know to play.
I think
it'll be
pretty
very
much
easy.
the only way to play it at that point.
Yeah.
So yeah, we should definitely try to plan something.
I think it's like $5 on Steam. And it's free on your phone.
Yeah, super
so,
cheap.
Yeah. So we'll be playing Among Us next month. Among Final Fantasy VII Remake, Remnant from the Ashes, Maquette, and I'll try Farpoint for a split second. All right, so we played Path of Exile. As you guys saw in the beginning, I have a little kind of remembering back in, I think it's June of 2019, we played Path of Exile. I was playing the fuck out of it then, just randomly, and Chris's pick came up. He picked it for the game of the month, which was very cool for me. And we played it. We reviewed it then. So this is the second time coming up on the channel, and probably it's the last time unless it gets picked again, unless something else comes up from it and we throw it back on the list. But if you didn't get a chance to play Path of Exile, it is a free-to-play, isometric, top-down Diablo-style game where you play like one of fucking, was it 6 or 7 classes, soft classes, 5 maybe?
I think 5.
Is it just 5?
I think it's 5. It's an odd number.
5, yeah, it's something. There's a bunch of them. I don't even emphasize too much on that because like
They
the
don't
skill
matter.
tree, yeah, exactly. So anyway, yeah, there's some people you can start as, and you go through this game. You play through all these different acts, similar to other games of the genre. You acquire loot. You get gems to modify your loot, and get skills that you can modify as well with other gems to make them more interesting. There's a very expansive and ever growing expansive skill tree in the game.
Changing.
Ever changing. Every time I log into this game, I take breaks, I come back, it's like, we've refunded all your points. And it's just like, before it was like funny to me, and now I just expect it. I come back, I'm like, all right, give me my skill points. All right, and I start like reallocating them. Yeah, big, expansive, huge game with a lot of shit to do, a lot of hack and slash action, magic, stuff like that. We both played it this month, and yeah, let's start with you. What were your impressions returning to, I almost said Among Us, Path of Exile?
I've never played Among Us, so
Cool. Stay tuned. We're gonna be playing that. We should stream that.
yeah, we can do
It'd be
that.
fun.
So yeah, as far as Path of Exile goes, you brought it up. We've played it before, and not just for channel, just in general. We've played this
General,
game.
yeah, off and on.
So my goal for this month wasn't necessarily to like put a crap ton of time into it, as much as just force myself to do something outside of my comfort zone that I don't usually do in these kind of games, and that in this case was to play a caster. I also went with the Scion, which is a character that at the very least you used to have to unlock. I don't know how it works anymore.
You do. You still have
Okay.
to. Me and Sarah played, and she looked over and she's like, "Who's that?" And I was like, "Oh yeah." I
Yeah, you have to
forgot."
beat the original main boss or whatever. So the only thing with that character is they start in a more like neutral spot. A lot of the characters lean into something to make that journey more focused, if you want.
Yeah, it's like their section of the skill tree that you can deviate from has a lot of things that they're most likely going to utilize more than other people. So there's like a soft class there, but then other people might have stuff that will benefit them as well, and you can really start digging in and get strategic.
You get enough points where you can make anybody anything. But the Scion's big thing is they have just like access to everything right off the bat, but they don't lean into anything, so you have to really build a class out of them. And this time I went ahead and looked up a build instead of freestyling it, because like I said, I was just kind of trying to do something outside my comfort zone to begin with, and because I'm not comfortable with that, I didn't even know where to begin. So did that. First thing I noticed as well, that's a little different from the last time we played, there were gem slots in the skill tree really early on the path I was going. So I thought that was really interesting, because I remember them being in the game, but they were so kind of like
Later.
sparse and further in, and this seemed like there's more of them now.
Yeah, it
And
seems like they've embraced that a lot more.
Yeah, and they're closer to the beginning. In fact, I think one of them was like right in the beginning for her. Yeah, so anyways, the build I went for was mostly just kind of like it's an early move you get, where you throw a bunch of like lightning orbs out, and they kind of like wiggle around, and they can bounce off objects and stuff. Which was really interesting, because before when I played a more of like a tankish build, and a lot of the moves I needed for that build, you don't get till later in the game. Like, so the drops just don't exist early game. In this case, it was literally like a quest reward item was that spell, and that's the build is based on that spell, and it was like the top rated build for that. And I was like, that's convenient that I can just start leveling that right off the bat. Excuse me. So the thing I ended up liking about that is I felt like I had a lot of crowd damage, which is great. I have that a lot usually when I play melee as well, but you have to get close. Obviously, this was more of like a cone. They could just sit back and go. The only thing I don't like, and this is early game casters in every game ever, things get close to you, it hurts. Mm-hmm. So you have to like run, cast. Not a big deal, but not what I'm used to in these games. In fact, the only game I can think of where I played a caster a lot was actually Diablo 3. And that...
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, otherwise it's not really my style in those kind of games. I prefer melee classes in ARPGs. So
that's the funny thing. Every game I play that's fantasy-esque or that has access to magic, I almost always never use it, or I'll lightly dabble with it with a build. Mm-hmm. I typically like agility in any type of game. I like to be able to move, mobility. I like to be able to sneak around, stuff like that. But I also like just cleave through shit. But then every time I challenge myself to go, play a magic user, I always like it. It's just not my first pick, but like I in my brain I'm like, oh man, I don't really like casters, but I'm like, no, I do. But it's me. I like everything. But like, I'm always surprised at how much I enjoy playing casters. It's not the thing I want to play at first. I want to run out and fucking stab people and slice through them, and
I think the one thing casters
fucking
really
hack people up with huge swords and shit.
I think the one thing casters really kind of accomplish in pretty much every game, and this includes Path of Exile, is like once you get powerful, you just feel godly.
Yeah.
So you just kind of have this like complex of like I could just melt everything on the screen versus like, melee can also melt through things, but you have to like get up to people to do things. So, some games have like, range attacks like conal, you'll hit the ground and rocks go flying or whatever and stuff. And Path of Exile is full of moves. Every type of move you can imagine is in the game. So
when you can turn any move into a splash damage move too, almost every build I've ever looked through in that game always goes to, because it makes sense. Splash damage.
Kill everything.
Yeah, because you just want to go into crowds and murder everything as fast as possible.
But I think the fantasy of just essentially being like effortlessly, where you put your arms out and everything dies, type of thing. So it's definitely very appealing. In fact, in MMOs, I generally like to play ranged classes, which is ironic because in Final Fantasy XIV, I played Samurai a lot. So play a caster now, but... that was more out of necessity for rating. But, that being said, I had fun doing it. I would probably push myself to play it more. I just have not been in the mindset to play this type of game right now, which is kind of weird because I can usually play an ARPG anytime. I just have not been mentally there this month. So I had to like force myself to play this month. Nothing against Path of Exile, just personally was having a hard time.
I have that problem all the time. Like I've been taking a break from like JRPGs and stuff, but I fucking love them. I'm just like mentally, I've been playing a lot of Valheim lately, and so obviously I'm like in like a survival builder game.
I think I'm in a similar place right now.
You definitely are, but because you've been playing Minecraft for a while now.
Like crazy.
But apparently I was just ready to play a game like that. Just Minecraft wasn't calling me. I'm sure if I played it, I would have got sucked into it. But yeah, I get that. Sometimes I'm just like, man, I really want to play. I look my Steam list. I look at games all the time. I'm like, I love that game. I don't want to play it right now. I'm just not in. I'm just not in the mindset for that.
So yeah, it was a rough month for me in that regard. But overall, I had a good time. I had fun playing something outside of my comfort zone.
What'd you play on?
PC. Yeah. Last time we played on console, I think, actually. So, gameplay's great on both.
Which is awesome to say.
Yeah.
Like you can play it either place, and I would recommend both. And I would not do that with most RPGs on console.
No, they did a good job. It takes a little getting used to the inventory management on controller.
Once you get it down, though, dude, it's fucking gone. Bad. Because I hop back on, and once I remembered how to play, it was like muscle memory.
Yeah. So yeah, I played on both. I do prefer keyboard and mouse for that type of game, but I do think they did a good job on console. So if you are thinking about playing it on console and you're worried about that, don't. The learning curve is very small. In fact, the game itself, the learning curve is a skill tree, plain and simple.
Oh yeah, 100%. So after that, once you get a build, whether you made it or you're using somebody else's build, once you get that down, like and you know where you're going with the skill tree, it's very straightforward. It's just more so about acquiring cool gear at that point. But the skill tree is the daunting part.
Well, especially looking at it. Once you have like a general idea and understanding of how Path of Exile plays as a game, the skill tree is actually not too bad.
It makes sense, and I would recommend anybody use Path of Building, which is a program. You can also use it online, I believe, where you can preemptively go through, do the skill tree, and kind of like check where it goes. And I think it even gives you like the stats and stuff to see what's going on. So you can make your own build before you play the game. And there's obviously, it takes some of the fucking like, oh shit, like I got the skill point to spend. I don't want to spend a refund thing on it if I put it in the wrong spot.
It can be a little scary too, because like later game content, the monsters get real hard, and if you're not you don't have a good balance between being able to just melt them or survive them, it becomes like hitting a brick wall. So there is a little bit of learning curve there, but like I said, once you have an understanding of just how Path of Exile itself works, it's really easy to kind of go, okay, I want to focus on this, and everything else is to complement that.
Yeah, so. Warframe and Path of Exile kind of have a similar thing. It has like two systems that you got to like just learn real quick. It's not even that hard. They're just like their own thing. And once you learn that, it's just fucking, it's easy.
For sure.
Because I knew people who had the same problems with the skill tree and Path of Exile. They'd try to play Warframe and they didn't understand how like modding worked.
Yeah. And
they got really like overwhelmed by it. And I'm like, just ask questions, man, or look it up. Yeah. But once you figure that out, you're gonna have a blast. Like that's the one hurdle. It's not even that big of a deal, but some people just want to hop in and play the fucking game and not think about stuff like that. So
it could also be a little weird for people in Path of Exile, the money system, because there's no money. It's barter.
That is at first confusing, but I actually really like it because
it's just trading resources for resources.
Yeah,
so.
I think it's really neat because like a lot of games don't do that. And I'd like to see more games play around with it.
Yeah, I like it too, especially because if anyone's familiar with Diablo 2's economy, money became completely useless. So, and I do think that is kind of inevitable for any games of service in general, because MMOs run into that problem too. They have to create money sinks or eventually just go, we're taking zero off everyone's money.
Yeah, and that's the thing that's kind of nice about, well, it's very nice. I like it a lot in Path of Exile. Is like you're not thinking about currency. You're thinking about acquiring resources. And obviously money is a resource, but like it's a specific resource that can be devalued once somebody's played a lot and someone's barely played. There's a huge difference there. But like if you're brand new or somebody's been playing for a while, you're obviously gonna have a lot of resources built up. But like it just makes it more interesting to have to acquire those things. Like, oh, I do have this thing, I can trade for that and stuff like that. So it just, in a game where you're already looking for loot and it's all about the drops and stuff, it just keeps the game more interesting, in my opinion.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really have a whole lot more to say about the game. I mean, we talked about it a lot before, so if you're curious about like maybe something we might not have mentioned, we did have an episode on it before. But I mean, overall, I really enjoy this game. It's always something I can go back to. I look forward to when they add stuff to it because they are definitely not afraid to experiment. They make quality of life changes all the time, and their store is very fair. So, because they have to make money, obviously, and it's a free game.
Yeah, the free play system is really good just because it's not about gaining functions, essentially. Although there are some things that will change the way your inventory works, and I would definitely recommend buying those. You don't need them, but they're nice to have. But everything's like cosmetic. It's not like, you can buy like XP boosters and shit, or skills and stuff like that. So it's a very fair, makes me want to spend money on it, free to play monetary system that I like. Them and Warframe are some of the best examples, in my opinion, of free to play games.
Well, and actually, real quick, before I forget, the one thing, they're doing an event right now. They always do, like, their seasons have different things going on. I can't remember what this one's called right now. It's Ascension or something like that. But there's essentially like totems in the ground that have a radius around them. Monsters spawn, defeat the monsters. You can access the totem. You get a currency, and you can buy items from the totem. So that's new this time playing as well. I think it's pretty neat. I like anything that changes up the maps because this is not my first time through the beginning of the game. And at first I was like, oh, dude, I don't want to do this part again. But having that variance made it a little easier. So,
which just allows you more loot per area and the ability to choose what you get, which is interesting. You also just buy resources too. Like sometimes I'd be running through them, like none of these items I want, so I guess I could sell them, or there'd be like some kind of orb of something. I'm like, I could definitely use more of those, so I just buy it then. But I did start skipping them the longer I played. Because I'd do like one and check the tree and there's nothing in there, I wouldn't spend time doing it. Because I just wanted to get through the X. Because jumping into my impressions, I just kind of I started a new character. I went off after a build, or I did a build, Enki's Arc Witch. I was looking for just a caster as well. And my whole priority was to try and catch up to where my other characters are at, because I have played the beginning of Path of Exile so many times. And then I tell a friend about I want to play it. I'm like, cool, I'll play with you. And I go back to the fucking beginning. Luckily, you can play your higher end characters on lower end areas, and you can, in the options, turn on a thing that makes it scale down. I still don't want to play the beginning of the fucking game anymore. I'm sick of the beginning of the game. Yeah. I hate it. It's great. I just don't want to play anymore. But yeah, so I was playing that build. I think I got to 45 or whatever, maybe 48 or something like that. I was trying to hit 50 something. I wanted to get to the fucking max level, but Valheim came out, so that kind of distracted me. But yeah, I'll talk about the build first. The build is essentially a electricity arcing witch build. Your whole point is to shoot somebody, and then that electricity hits everybody else, and everyone just gets fried. Where I'm at in the build currently, I'm reading kind of the notes on the build. Where I'm at in it, it tells you you're going to be weak for a little bit, but don't worry, because I guess in a couple levels you get strong again. So right now I'm kind of struggling. You might see it in the footage here. I got killed twice fighting a boss, because I'm pretty squishy right now. I do good damage, but I'm kind of squishy. So right now in the build is kind of rough, but other than how squishy I am, which I'm used to, glass cannon shit, blah, blah, blah. I really like the build. I think it's fun. I feel powerful, like you were saying earlier, with the magic using, just walking, and everybody just fucking fries, and it's, it feels good to just destroy a whole room of people until I get destroyed.
Murder, pop.
Pretty much. It reminded me of fucking Diablo 3. And Diablo 3 is one of the fastest get murdered games I've ever played. I would literally run in, and I'm high level, and I'm just bah, 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 bah. All of a sudden I see, and my character go just off the screen, and I'm I died, I guess. I didn't even see my health go down or anything. So yeah, that's been happening with this character on Path of Exile as well, and I was whew, that's all too familiar, because I played the fuck out of Diablo 3. But yeah, the build's cool. I'm enjoying playing the game. With a game like this, I come back on and off, so I will continue to play the game. I had fun getting a certain someone to play the game. They were not stoked about playing the game at first. And I was like, I don't know why you wouldn't want to play this game. I feel like you would like it. And they're like, I don't know. I tried to play it before, and I just didn't really like it. I'm like, well, let's play it. Check it out. And they ended up liking it. So I'm like, yeah, because Path of Exile is fucking awesome. So that was cool. Played with Josh a little bit, I think, which was cool. And yeah, overall, Path of Exile is awesome. I'm a big fan of Path of Exile. I love the game. So coming back to it was very easy to do. This month I was preoccupied playing other games, but anytime I did turn on Path of Exile, I was just hooked. All I have to do is start the game up, hit something. As soon as I go bop or psh, and kill something, I'm fucking playing the game. It's very easy to do, and it's a lot of fun. The new season, or whatever it's called, is interesting. It's not a huge difference, but it does add a little bit of flavor that was interesting. I did start out in that season just to check it out. I made a priority to do that, so got plenty of experience with that. And yeah, just thinking about the game, I kind of want to play it right now. So, but yeah, overall, fun month. I went hard on it. I put right at the beginning of the month, I put 40 or 50 hours into the game, just right as soon as I start playing. It's very easy to do, and yeah, it's really fun. Let's jump into recommendations. These ones are always, for this game, it's easy. I say always, like we do this all the time. We've done this once before. If you like isometric Diablo style ARPGs, you should play this game if you haven't. You probably have, but if you haven't, you should play it. I've said this before, I'll say it again. I think it's one of the best ones, if not the best one out there. That's a hard claim to make on the best one, but I think you could make
There's
the
so
case.
many good ones.
I think you can make the case though if you like sat down and discussed it with people. I'm not saying that is my opinion. I'm saying it could be easily if I thought about it long enough. There are some really good ARPGs, but the best ones out there, I think Path of Exile is one of them, easily. And so if you haven't played it and you like ARPGs like Diablo and Torchlight and fucking oh god, what's that? Titan Quest and stuff like that, you have to play this game. It's really fucking good, and it's free to play, and it's fair, and it's free to play. On that,
and it's on everything.
And it's on everything, yeah. On that note, if you like dabbling in free-to-play games, it's a great free-to-play game.
Oh, yeah.
If you're looking for fair free-to-play games, Path of Exile is one of the best examples out there. It's great. It's a game that makes you want to spend money on it. If you're like me, you want to support the things that you like. If you can, Path of Exile is a game like that. Like I love this developer.
It's surprising because the amount of Tencent involved in it. So.
Yeah, well, 10 cents involved in everything.
Sure, they own a very substantial amount of this game, and so the free to play model being fair is surprising. Is all I meant. There,
yeah.
So.
Well, I don't know what they're like when it comes to free to play, but yeah, it's a great example of that. And yeah, if you like cooperative games, it's a pretty good cooperative game. I can play this game by myself or with people. It doesn't really change the experience all too much outside of the loot gain that goes up with more people, of course. If you like fantasy, like medieval fantasy style stuff. With kind of a fucking New Zealand flair to it, which I think is really interesting. Listen to the accents. Definitely check it out. Games where you explore maps and have different routes to go, and not necessarily find secrets, but there is an element of like in some games like this, there's just a route. You go through the acts or whatever. In this, there's like side quests and stuff you can do that are, like go to different sections, stuff like that. And that's one thing I really like about Path of Exile. If you like I guess bloody, gory combat, watching people splat and blow up and shit like that. It's got that. It's got darker themes in it. It's got some, disturbing imagery if you're into that kind of thing. I am. And
the monsters are super creepy looking.
They are. And the story's interesting. It doesn't have a boring story. I haven't beaten it, but I guess technically nobody has. But I haven't gotten to the end yet. And yeah, I mean, I can't recommend this game to everybody, but I think everybody should check it out for sure. It's really good.
I mean, I agree, especially with that last part. There's definitely going to be people that this genre just doesn't belong or work for, period.
This genre does not belong to you.
The other thing I would probably say is if you just like cannot handle heavy RPG systems, this is not going to be for you because the skill tree is like integral to this game.
Or just find a build and just copy it and just do yourself the favor. Like some people, I mean, I typically when I start any game do my own build at first, and then if I play long enough, I'll look at other people's builds because I'm curious about what they achieved.
So, and there's people out there who are way better at math. Yeah. So
sure.
Yeah. So,
but not even just individuals too. There's an aggregate. There's a bunch of people working on it. People get influenced by other people's builds, and then just like the machine does its thing and makes the best thing possible at the time. But outside of that, if you just want to hit shit and play the game, but you're worried about the skill tree aspect, like just let someone else do the work for you. There's no shame in that. Like play the game how you want to play.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Outside of cheating and making the game worse for other people, like it's play it how you want.
One, unless you're like a person who like enjoys making builds, I would say the biggest thrill for these kind of games, anyways, is the loot systems. That's the draw. I think
the reason these games are so addictive to me in any game, it doesn't have to be RPGs, but RPGs are known for loot and leveling. And those are two things that keep me playing a game. I can play a fucking mundane ass game, and if there's progression in it, it'll keep me interested because I'm working towards something. that will benefit me. I will become better, and I enjoy that system. I don't like to look into games before I play them. I've been struggling with Valheim because I tell people, I'm like, I don't want to know anything about it. I just want to like find out as I play the game and go, whoa, that's cool. I didn't know that was in the game. And so far I've been doing pretty good. But that's the thing that's great about games with random loot is like someone dies and all of a sudden there's like a legendary. You're like, whoa, fuck. And you pick it up and sometimes you're like, I'm not going to use that. Or you're like, oh, this is what I've been looking for. This changes my whole build. And that shit's exciting because it's dynamic. Your experience is changing constantly. And I fucking love that.
Yeah, well, it's definitely probably one of the best feelings you're going to get in these kind of games is like just going through killing, and all of a sudden, like, especially if the game has good like design to like emphasize the rarity of whatever dropped. Like, Diablo, for example, the pillar of light and that sound effect ching that happens when something drops, you go, whoa, what is that? And you like instantly stop everything you're doing to like check it out,
Yeah.
This genre is all about that, I think. And so like if you like the idea of that, or like, we just gonna be a weird example, if you're a gacha player, like it's the same kind of idea. It's that rare drop, right? So you're just doing a lot more work for it than you are in a gacha game.
Yeah.
But yeah, outside of that, I mean, I feel like the people I would recommend it to have played it or at least know about it already. So if you're thinking about it, just pull the trigger, play it.
Yeah, it's free play. So check it out. All right, let's jump into grades. No surprise here. Back in 2019, I gave it an A. I'm going to maintain that A. I think it's fantastic. Like I said before, I think it's one of the best ARPGs that exist. If not, could be possibly the best ARPG that exists. Obviously, that's debatable. It's not my opinion, but it could be. Like, I really think like you can make a good case for this. If I'm going to say that, I got to go hard on it. I got to maintain the A that I gave it before. Nothing's changed. The game is still just as good as it was, if not better. I can't give it an A+ because I don't play this game and go, holy shit, wow. I beat it and go, whoa, that's fucking, it changed my life, dude. My life is better or worse off from that. There's no emotional impact from the game, but it's so solid. It's so good. It respects the players that play it. It's got great ideas. It's fun to play. It's multiplayer. It's got the fucking loot. It's got so much shit that I love in gaming. In this game, it's awesome. It's an easy A. I can't even give it an A-. I think that'd be insulting. So, yeah, it's great. It's fantastic. A.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also, I believe I gave it an A last time as well. I'm going to continue to give it an A. My main,
when it goes to A-, that's when you know something's up. Something they did something bad.
My big focus this time was like, it is a games as a service game, right? So like in the time between we've played it, do I feel like it's dipped in quality or risen in quality? And I actually feel it just kind of feels the same. So I can't adjust its grade, because I feel like it's the game I expected to hop into verbatim. Still had a good time with it. Still have all the same feelings. So yeah, definitely an A. And in a year, depending on what they do to the game, that could change again.
Path of Exile 2 is coming.
So yeah, it's interesting when you get these long-term games because, every month is different because they could change it completely. Yeah. So.
Anytime like a new season comes out, people are going to have their opinions, and it could be good, bad, whatever.
And I feel like they've done a good job of keeping it kind of just like where it needs to be to keep people happy. So
yeah, and I think they're at this point thinking about transitioning over into Path of Exile too. So I think they're just trying to, like you said, keep people happy until that happens. So which I think is the smart move. Anything else? Let us know in the comments what you guys think of Path of Exile in February. Did you play it? Did you not play it? Have you played it in the past? What did you think about it then? Are you curious about playing it? Do you like ARPGs? Do you like, are you stoked for Diablo 4? What is your favorite ARPG? I don't have one I can pick, but I love Path of Exile. I love the Diablo series, even though the original Diablo is probably like my least favorite of them, but I love them. But I think I like Path of Exile more. I've said that multiple times. And I like Titan Quest. What the fuck is the Grim Dawn? I love Grim Dawn. I love Torchlight 2. I like them all.
Someone we played recently that was really buggy when it came out.
Oh, Wolcen.
Yeah.
I fucking love Wolcen. I'm like one of the only people.
The game's hard as fuck.
I'm one of the only people who, like, bugs aside, I'm like, I love this game. Wolcen's one of my favorite ARPGs as well, but it has a crazy fucking skill tree. So anyway, I can just gush about the genre. It's hard. Now you understand why I say it could be one of the best. I don't know, because I like them all for the most part.
Probably easier to pick out ones I don't like than the ones I do like, because I like it. It's a really easy formula to just keep doing. You just have to put your own spin on it to make it memorable. So
There's just weaker ones typically. I'm easy. Like I'll play them all. I don't think I don't think any of them are bad really.
Yeah.
Any of the bad ones probably I don't know about. So, but there's one that I'm playing right now. I forgot what the fuck it's called, but it doesn't have multiplayer yet, which I kind of hate. But
that one for DS that the Square published, that it's okay, but
it's a mobile game, so like I don't
Yeah.
expect much from it. It was all right, yeah.
Heroes is something I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember. But yeah, let us know in the comments everything you're thinking about. Specifically, let me know your favorite ARPG. And that's going to do it for this episode of Game of the Month. Reminder, we're playing Among Us in March, so make sure to get that and play that. Maybe play it with us. Maybe we can set up a day on the weekend where we can get some people in. And yeah, as always, thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Check us out on social media and our streams. Links down below. Check out our Discord. You can talk to us anytime, all the time. We're on iTunes, Spotify, and other podcast platforms if you prefer to listen to us. And we have a Patreon if you'd like to support this channel more than liking this video. It helps a lot. Commenting. We'd like to hear from you. Subscribing if you're brand new. And sharing the video with people. Be like, hey, there's these bearded dudes who say fuck a lot, and they talk about games, and it's kind of fun to have these conversations. Tell them about it if you want. My name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
Watch Plus Club. It's out as well. So, or will be out very soon. They're releasing pretty close together.
Same window,
yeah. Yeah. The last weekend of the month. It's just fucking, this month is so short. It flew by. Anyway, yeah, till the next episode. Have a good one, guys. Take it easy.